So can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we want to do today is a repetition of what we did in last class, just to bring us to the knowledge because last week class was not recorded, and for us to be able to proceed with what we have to go to do. So I may be brief on this. So we started research methodology. I said research methodology is just like the overall strategies based on system structure that have been created that you use to navigate how you collect your data, analyze your data, and interpret your data. So this is where your own contribution to knowledge setting, whereby you get a clear procedure of what to use, and every approach is not what it for any of the research they are doing. It depends on your problem. It depends on your objective that justify which of the method are you using. However, I used to make us to understand something that your literature review justify the strength in identifying the research method that will best fit your work. Because I said everything around your research is summary to uh, literature review. So whatever you are able to establish from literature review, you'll have seen different approach that they also use. Is it fit for what you want to tend to want to use, want to consider? So that's when you know, let me go for quantitative research. No, let me go for a secondary research using using meta analysis or using systematic review, using content review, depending on what the case may be. So that is about research methodology. So it's a systematic investigation to establish facts. So and the due process is how you collect your data, how you analyze your data, and how you interpret your data. However, in doing so, in methodology, there are some of the key things that we have to take note of. There are some key things that we have to take note for. And some of these things are ethical consideration. There's no how you want to collect data from people. You have to consider some ethical consideration to ensure that will ensure individual that you are collecting data from them that no, this person will utilize my data well, it will save my data well, it will not implicate me. Probably you are investigating about a place of work and you have to interview their staff. How would the staff guarantee that you're not going to post their details outside and people will track them down? So all this is part of ethical consideration that you consider. Even your own personal security yourself, in you gathering those data, all those things will have factor in ethical consideration level. And I say one of the ethical consideration documents is the consent form. The consent form is what you are using to get approval from your respondent that no, and you actually want to carry out this research. Do you agree? Do you agree with this? Probably you give them some information for them to tick if they agree with it, and they will sign in agreement that they are going to participate in your research. Give it to me.
So,
Okay. So this consent form is what will let you know they are ready to participate in your research data collection. Another one is ethic form. Ethic form is just to understand what your research is all about, how you tend to take care of some ethical issue or some let me say risks that will happen that might happen in the course of your research. Let's assume you are carrying out a research that you need to interview some set of people that those things may lead to emotional breakdown or may lead to mental stress or whatever case may be. Are you providing solution to address that? How do you want to carve it out? What are your options? How do you navigate that part? And depending on what the case may be, these are what is being prepared inside ethical form. The participation information sheet is what um, what you want the participant to know, everything they need to know about your research. So that's what is included in participation information sheet for them to know what they want to discuss with you as regards your research, what they are addressing in terms of your research. I said sometimes we also used to have a debrief form and poster. This one, the poster is just to create an awareness and call attention of potential uh, respondents. Another thing that we used to take note is validity and reliability. And I said for us to be able to ensure the tools that we are using, probably in case of using questionnaire to gather data in survey, or to ensure that the tools that we are using is well equipped to capture the real data that we need for what we are doing. We have to ensure to find out that the validity and the reliability is well okay. And I and a general research study established that when we have something now, probably 0.7, 0.8, thereabout, is very good fit when we are calculating the validity. The validity shows us the truthfulness, the accuracy measurements, and it also tests the accuracy of the measurements that we are putting in place. For example, in most cases, that when we do a pilot testing at first, pivot study, sorry, when we do a either pilot testing, whatever you call it, or pivot study, pilot study. So in so doing, we'll be able to probably out of 100 participants I want to consider for my research, I can just pick randomly 5 or 10, and through those one I can collect some data with my first draft questionnaire. So when I collect my data, I can test the validity and see uh, the value to ensure probably my questionnaire needs some adjustments or is best fit at that angle. So that is what um, this is all about. So when you have a higher value for it, it strengthens your research, and reliability tests for consistency, stability of findings. So another factor that have to be considered under your methodology is bias and error. Bias and error in the sense that depending on individual that you are getting data from, individual source that you are getting data from, want it to be biased in the sense that probably somebody that is considering, let me just for example, in your research you tend to want to your geographical consideration is Africa, whereas you are only in Nigeria, and you tend to be collecting data from only Nigerians, not even other African countries like South Africa, Ghana, Senegal, and the likes and co. So you are only okay, is this Senegal? Okay, you are only considering data from Nigeria. So the overall perspective of your data may not be generalized across Africa, because people that will be giving you feedback on data as regard your research are strictly people with a mindset in Nigeria. So with less exposure to other those regions. So for you to not generalize the idea of Nigeria to the whole Africa may be um, maybe let me use the English not substantial for that purpose. So at least even if you have to verify that, you have to at least speak, if not much, out of your participants, you have at least few people from other countries, even if you can't cover every countries of the Africa. So that you can generalize the idea across board. So and biased in the sense that all those people will not even be sentimental in what they are saying, probably supporting the region where they are or the likes. And even another perspective is error. Error in the sense of um, data that you collected from them and the likes. So how do you take care of those? That's part of another thing that you have to figure out. So, but research methodology also helps to others to replicate what you do. For example, now the reason why, let me just bring this part out. The reason why we carry out literature review is by me going through somebody that have done something related to what I did. However, I've discovered gap in that study. I can now use the same approach they use to do that which they've done, and I can still get similar findings to what they've already gotten, because I'm using the same approach, the same process of what they do. So that is what methodology give to us. It shows a clarity path which somebody has followed, and if I should follow that path also, I will be getting what they do. But however, I have identified some gaps in that study, so I may now probably modify a part of it, which that part I'm modifying from it can now be improvements, which we add more contribution to knowledge. So that is some key thing to note under the research methodology. So we have different type of research. We have numerous of them, but for now we narrow ourselves to the crucial one: quantitative research, qualitative research, and mixed methodology. Mixed method means that we are having quantitative and qualitative together. So you are using survey to collect your data, and you are also interviewing people to collect your data. The quantitative research approach boils down to you collecting numeric data. You give people a closed um data for them to respond to. So you gauge the answer that they can give. For example, now you tell them that what is your age. You give them less than 20, 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 and above. So that means you cage them to answer that they can give in that regard. Or you said, do you what is your opinion about this blah blah blah. You gave them some word, and you put over there the 5 light scale. You said disagree, strongly disagree, disagree, normal, agree, strongly agree. So you have already given them a restricted jurisdiction to pick the answer from. So that is one more quantitative. And you tend to ask some question of how, on what, where, and to what extent, in the sense that how many, how much, how often. So that's some of the question that you hear. But when you come to qualitative, you tend to answer the question of why and how, whereby people will narrate their expression. They will narrate their own insight and opinion about that event, and in so doing you might even get more data. You might get more data, yeah, valuable data from a single conversation. One work that I'm currently working on before I jump to your class was also a qualitative data like this, whereby the person records each of the session of interaction. And let me quickly use that one to chip this one in. I believe you can still hear me.
Yes, sir.
So in a scene where you guys want to carry out this qualitative research, to gather data from participants, life is not as hard as before. That you have to either be writing it as they are saying it, or probably you record and you go back home to go and listen to the audio and start transcribing it letter by letter. We already There are a lot of AI tools that we can use to record the meeting that will automatically transcribe it. One of it is Octa.ai. So you can integrate this Octa.ai into your meeting, and it automatically record that meeting for you, and you can go back to it to download the meeting that you've done over and transcribe that one through it. These are some of the meetings that I've recorded in the past. You can even see, I can still see some of the stuff that I've recorded since 2024 on the Octa AI. So during your interview, what you just have to do is to link it up with the meeting so that you get it recorded. Though they have a free package that you can first utilize, but you can also pay a subscription for it. This if you've already recorded this meeting, you can import it over here to transcribe it, but that's a limit also. This one, if you are just starting the meeting, you can click here, paste the meeting link over here, and it will hijack the meeting to record on its own. However, you can check the terms and conditions. They are not paying for this section, so I'm just using that one as a reflection for it to you can look into, so that it will narrow down the effort that you waste in listening to audio. The only thing you do is some of the diction that AI cannot pick fluently. You can go over there to now pick one or two and make some adjustments on your workpiece. So that is about um, that one on quantitative. So let's go back to what we're actually dealing with. So we also have a mixed method. Mixed method is just a blend of your quantitative and your qualitative research. Having known that, the research process that you follow when you are doing any research is what I always used to hammer every time. You identify research problem. When you don't know the problem and you say tell him that you are doing research, definitely you don't know what you are doing, because there is a problem that you want to fix or you want to address. That is the purpose of research. So, and after you've identified the research problem, you do literature review around it to know what individuals have established around it, and even to be sure and to know what they've done. Not that, to be sure that they've not done that which you are even thinking you want to do. So that gives you a clarity of go ahead, that you can proceed with the work, that this work is not what they've done before. However, they've done this that you can use as a bedrock for your own research. And after you've done literature review, the literature review will guide you to prepare your research questions. What are the things that you want to answer at the end of the overall research? What do you intend to what are the questions that you intend to answer in alignment with your problem research problem? So when you understand, when you have this one clearly, you know where you need to channel your effort into, and what you need to ask people in terms of data, what you need to source for from database in case of when you are doing secondary research. However, let me quickly diverse back a little bit here. This quantitative research qualitative mixed method can either be a primary approach or a secondary approach research. If it's primary, meaning that you are collecting the data raw yourself from the resource, probably from individual through your survey, for questionnaire, your interview, and the likes. However, if it's secondary research, it might be a review of literatures. In terms of quantitative, it might mean that you are collecting data from quantitative database like World Bank data, like uh, economics, trading. We have a lot, numerous of them that you can pull quantitative data from to analyze. Yeah, so what I just bring from that place is it might be primary or a secondary research for all these three methods. So another thing is after you formulated your question, then you can now channel to choose method that you use to. Based on your research question is what will justify what method are you using. Don't forget, like I say over here, that under your method, your quantitative is answering question on to what extent, what, where, how, in terms of quantity. But when you are talking of probably your research question is asking question in relative to for them to express themselves. What do you not think? Why is this thing happening? So you should know that your research will tailor towards qualitative research. However, if you are seeing a mix of what quantitative and qualitative holds, you can now say, this may not be best fit to use a quantitative, it may not be best fit to use a qualitative. So let me just use a mix so that I'll be able to gather the two ends of what the research end is. So that is how your research question justify the choice of your method in your research. After you've gotten a clarity on your method, then you can collect your data using the approach that you've laid down under your method there, and you analyze your data. And after you are done analyzing your data, you interpret your data. So I also mentioned that for your data collection, I think I've mentioned that one now. It can either be primary data or secondary data. Primary data will be from survey, interview, observation, experiment. Experiment like science and engineering and other stuff does, whereby you test some materials or you try some lab work to get your data. Observation may be that you are not even getting direct information from uh, by speaking by verbal or something. You just stand somewhere and be observing what is happening to that person. I mean, what is happening to that thing, and you are getting your data time by time on it. Interview is by you asking them to talk. Survey is you giving out a closed measure, closed questionnaire method that you give them something to tick, or probably you make it an online base for them to click. And so your secondary data can be from journals, can be from book, report, or database, the way it might be. And in your analysis can also be quantitative or qualitative. When we come to quantitative, that is when you are using statistical tools to solve different problems which can be in different divers. It might be a descriptive, it might be a regression, it might be a correlation, it might be uh, sky squared, different type of statistical analysis. While your qualitative can either be thematic analysis and content analysis. So, but for tonight, I've already taken a class in how you prepare your questionnaire to gather the data and for you to inbox it in Excel, which I gave the assignment to you guys in one of the class, and so a few people submitted. So I will not be repeating that error. What I gave you assignment on is what I just want to do with one of the tasks that I have in front of me that I want to deliver tonight, just to quickly use that one to explain that part. So we'll be moving straight to Excel. But before I diversify into that one, let me see if we have any question from anyone at this stage before I jump into that. Is there any question? Just raise up your hand if you have any question on everything that I've said thus far. Give me thumbs up if we are good to go, so that I will know you guys are still here with me. Okay, I think we have some thumbs up here. Okay, let's quickly move into that. So, using questionnaire, we have actually gathered data and we have pulled it out. But let me quickly just explain pulling out only. I'm not explaining how you create the questionnaire. Let's go to form. So this is the actual form. So this is the form that I want to use as the keys. And for you to pull out your data, you go under your response, you go to view in sheet. When you click view in sheet, it will direct you into Google Sheets. So through Google Sheets, you can come under your file, and from your file, you can click on download and download it as XLX for you to be able to use it on Excel, or you can download it as CSV, but majorly download as this. And after you are done downloading that one, you see it inside your file. You can now open it the way we have it here. So, and I told you that when you have your data in this form, the first thing you do is cleaning. What did I mean by cleaning? The cleaning is the sense that what are data that are not relevant in that case. So, but for me to quickly do this, what I will just first do on the first track is add a filter here. If I should add a filter here, I can be able to navigate what is what and what is not what there. So, for example, this, I don't need the timeline. I can delete that one off my board. Starting from the age, we have it here. I don't want this thing to be having the question mark that they have at the back, not necessarily. I can clean those one away. Or let me try to do find. And let me search for question mark. Search for question mark. So I will find and replace. I'll put nothing there. Let's try to see if it do it once and for all instead of me doing it manually. So it's not giving me what I want. It deleted all what I want over here. So that is not working for what I want to do. So I can leave them though because it's a question end, so not necessary. But if I'm actually doing this stuff afresh, but because it's not more big deal, I will have coded this membership growth past 3 years into a simpler word. Usually, if I need to use it on other software like SPSS, because if I'm going on FPSS does not subscribe to putting space between your word, something like what you see over here. You can't put space between your word. You either put underscore under like this. And when we get to SPSS, you understand this more better. So sometimes when we are dealing with this, we have to either put the underscore to signify it, or we put what is it called? We synchronize it into a single word, probably like one or two words. But for the purpose of this, so far I'm not pushing this work on Excel, I'm only utilizing it here. I will limit it to that. I will just be removing the questionnaire at the back of it. And the reason why I'm removing the questionnaire is by the time I am translating to um, visualizing, I don't need to be doing much editing at that piece. So I'll be using what we already have here. Okay, so let's quickly use the filter to check if there's anything missing out of all those values. I think we are good. We have three categories there, though the questionnaire is having how many categories for the age. Is everybody not seeing my screen or only that person? Are remaining people seeing my screen?
Yes, sir. We are seeing your screen, sir.
You can see the Excel also.
Yes, sir.
Eh?
The Excel is not currently open, sir. Like, yeah, we can see it now, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Akintude Solomon, you can log out and log in back so that you'll be able to see our screen. So for other people are seeing it, you're supposed to be seeing it also. Yeah. So back to that. So I can see that all my data here. The reason why I will have less error here is because people are picking data from what I've already set on the form over here. So there may be less modification or correction to make. So the next thing I will just do is code my data. Let me put it side by side this way so that it will be easy, more easy for us. So next thing I will be doing is to code this data. And in coding data, you ensure you implement every option that you've given to it. So under age, for example, I I have 18 to 21. I have 31 to 40. I have 41 to 50. I have 51 to 60. I have 61 plus. I need to copy it there just to be sure. Okay, 61 plus plus. So I can code this one to be 1, this to be 2, this to be 3, this to be 4, this to be 5. Let me just make this angle yellow. Yellow. Let's search for more color, something more like that. Yellow. Okay. So the next thing I have there is gender. So I have male. Male is capital letter. You have to note that because it will not read it. Okay. And I have female. So let me just say male is 1, female is 2. Let's put a shade of red there. So the next question that we have here is full time in the ministry. Yes or full time in the ministry. Let me just put it beside it so that I will not be having a long thing there. So in full time in the ministry, even here we have preferred not to say. So I'll make it 3. So full time in ministry we have 0 to 5. We have 6 to 10. We have 11 to 20. And we have 21 plus. So this one is saying 6 to 10 as 6th of November. So I'll go back to custom and turn it to number. It's saying number as so general 6 to 10. So let me just lift and paste. So it's still saying as 6th of October. So let's be more specific. General. Okay, so I can make this one 1, my 2, my 3, my 4. So the next question is, I think that is a row. So for the row we have senior pastor, we have associate youth pastor, we have others. So I can make this one 1, this is 2, and this is 3. The next one is average attendance. Average attendance, which can be less than 50, can be 50 to 100, 101 to 200, 201 to 500. We have 500 and above. So this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me have this as so the next question is membership growth in past 3 years. So decline, we have decline, we have stable, we have 1 to 10, we have 11 to, no, we do not have that option here, but we have to put it also. That's plus 30. So let me call this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who can mention to us the reason why we are doing all this? Can someone let us know the reason why we are doing all this? Anyone from the class? Why are we going through this stress?
We are going to use it for our, I think that's array table for the VLOOKUP, sir.
Okay, that's perfect. So for the best part of this thing now is I'll be seeing most of them that is using this. I mean, they strongly agree, so I don't need to be repeating for every one of them. So far, all of them are using, the remaining one are using this. I just have to do one, and I will do that. I will use that one for everyone that is using that option. Because the only thing I want to achieve is I want to change those text to number. And why are we changing them to number using the VLOOK and not using it as text? The reason being that you can analyze text, you can analyze non-numeric number. Whatever you're analyzing must be numerical, which is number. So you can now use your result to justify where it's falling to. Okay, I think we have the same pattern throughout here. Strongly agree, strongly disagree. Oopsie. So it changed when we get to church growth practice. So under church growth practice, we have always, often, sometimes, um, rarely, never. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So do we have it? Okay, we have weekly here. Regularity of evangelism. So regularity of evangelism. The person that went out and joined, are you back? Is the person on the call back? Quarterly, yearly, none. 1, 2, 3. I believe you guys are not sleeping. I just want to finish all this thing. So you know those that are sleeping in this class, I'm going to ask question. Immediately I'm done with this that I'm doing. So you should get yourself prepared. Ah, thank God. We are the last question. Okay. Let me quickly ask my question before we proceed. In that order that I'm seeing people here, Emmanuel, why do we have to code our results before we tend to analyze?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
What is it?
Sir, I can't see the screen since morning, but I also like I should just be listening to the class. Maybe probably when you send the video, I'll be able to cope. I can't see the screen. The network is like the network is very bad here, so I can't see the screen since morning.
And you're only
I'm just
hearing us, you're
listening to
not
the
seeing the
class.
screen.
Yes, I'm only hearing so I'll be able to understand the video when you drop it.
That's serious. It's okay. The next person, Isaiah Joshua. Same question.
Yes, sir. I didn't really get the question, sir.
Why do we need to code just what we just finished now when we want to analyze data?
Right, sir. We're doing a quantitative analysis, so we need to translate all our data that are in form of text into numerical form. And if you try to analyze with like that, it's not going to work out. I think one of the classes you tried doing it and it brought out that it will not be able to analyze it because it's not in a numerical form, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the next person, Enoch Richard. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Okay,
So
I think it's the same thing you said, sir. So the essence of
I
the
have
coding
another
is so
question for
that
you. Don't answer that one. He has already
oh,
answered it.
all right, sir.
So my
Yes,
question
sir.
to you is, what is the next step now after we are done coding?
Okay, after we are done with the coding, we create a new spreadsheet for the that we'll be using for the cleaned data, and then we make use of Vlookup to change each column to convert the columns that are in the alphabet to numerical ones using Vlookup, and then the tables that we've coded.
Okay, thank you for that. Uh, I think Promise is the one next of the call. Are you there? Hello, is Promise on the call? I think he's not on the call. He's just joined the class. Fikayo.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the next thing? What is the function that we want to use currently now? And can you explain it?
Okay, so you already mentioned it. You said you are going to use VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP is for encoding categorical data, or not even categorical. So what is going on underneath is it's going to take the text, so and it's going to convert it to the digits, and you've done the heavy lifting already by creating this thing, the lookup table. So that is what you'll be using in encoding the column. So you also have to lock this thing, because by the time you start dragging, you are going to have issues of this thing. So you have to lock your references using the dollar sign.
Okay, thanks for that. I think that is comprehensive enough for understanding. Toby Ope Loye or Abiloye. Are you there? Toby, are you on the call? So now I know two people that are not in this class. They just joined to mark attendance. Or probably they are fighting with network where they are. But I don't want to believe it's network. Because Emmanuel that is also fighting with network, you can hear his voice, even though you can't see our screen. So when they are active, I want to hear from them. The two person, Promise and Toby. Let me even screenshot those people that came to class today. Okay, so VLOOK option, the first value we need to enter is the value that we want to look for. And don't forget the value is under this row here, which is the first one under age. Comma is asking for the table of array where we have it. Table of array where we have for the age categories is what we have here. I'm not going to select that age with it because age is not having a variable in alignment with the option here. So, comma. So it's asking us for which of these is having the index number, which is 2, according to this row 1, and this column 1, this column 2. So I'll be putting 2, comma. So I'll select false. If it's not exactly what is there, it should be false. However, I will log this column range so that by the time I drag it down, it will not be shifting this one also down. So I have to lock it that it must always be within here, because if I do not lock it and it's shifting downward there, I'll be seeing error message in my data. So and that one is over here. I will not be locking the first one, which is the raw data, because I need it to shift. But for the table array that I select over here, I have to lock it. I will lock both the row and the column using the dollar sign, like um, Mr. Fikayo have said. So we have it this way. I can press my enter. So why it's giving me 3 years? When you go back to your raw code and we check the first one, this is 41 to 50. 41 to 50 belongs to what? Number 3. So I'm going to, we have 34 participants here. Don't forget why we are saying 35 days, because number 1 is for your header. So we are going to number 35. So I can come over here, drag this one down to 35. So my table will fill automatically. Same thing I do over here. I'll go back to gender. So that will be VLOOK. So I'll be a little bit fast now. Go back to what I want to look for, which is this, comma, the table array, comma, 2, comma, false. If not, code this, log this. So this time around, I don't need to drag it down. So if I've already dragged one down, I'll just have to double tap the edge of this, so it will be equivalent to that. Full time, this one is years in full ministry equals to Vloop. So Vloop. Okay, Fikayo, we are hearing you.
Okay, so my question is there no way that you can automate this? Like, is there no shortcut?
Shortcut to which one exactly? To all this thing that we are doing. Eh? Hello? I'm not hearing you again. I say shortcut to this one we are doing or what? Am I the only one that is not hearing me?
I think he's having network issues on his end, sir.
I believe all of you understood what we are doing. Yes or no? Or yes. Or all of the above. So this
I
part,
understand. The question I ask is there a way that we can, like, we can,
quickly transcribe it to
is
number
it,
without doing all this thing that we are doing.
yes, yes, yes.
To my best knowledge, I think this is the only fastest one I even know. To my own best knowledge, because I don't these days I don't like to agree that only what I know is the best route. Because some people have cooked something different. But this to me is fast. The only place where it's slow is creating this table array that will be utilized. And even if I'm using SPSS for this, I prefer to code it from Excel before I go on SPSS because of how not tedious, but it's not easy as we are doing it on Excel compared to SPSS. But we can do research if there is other approach to it. But to me, I'm not sure. Let's even ask AI. Okay. So you can see this option that is given here for switch. That's if your options are similar. I mean your option are not all this one that we have different one for yes, this one. Probably you have everyone to be strongly disagree. We can use that one whereby we use shift and we'll put every other value within the same bracket, so you are not creating an extra one. However, you also mention X lookup here if you are using newer Excel. I think recent Excel one, but I do not think X lookup is on this. But let me finish this first. Let me check. So, are we together, Africa?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's check. X. There's no X lookup here. So probably the recent Excel, probably the recent one, the last 1 2 years. If you have it on the laptop, you can check this out first and let's see how it works. But this remaining one also work like this. The only that is that if you are dealing with one category options, that is not different one like this one that you are doing. So from these two, from the challenges, okay, from this dominance to to compliance analysis before acting. They use the similar data. So let's look for that last one. This is the last one. That is R before acting. So they use similar data. So what I will just do is to drag this down to R. So my data will be correct because let's try to check it. Our P here, P1 is 5. P1 here is what? P1 here is strongly agree. And our strongly agree here is what? Is 5. Let's check another one. M, let's check one that is neutral. N is 3. What is in our N here? N is neutral here, so definitely our neutral here is also 3. The reason why it agrees with it and does not give me problem to do it is because they are using the same option, and so far I've done it for one. I can translate that one to the remaining one. So on this I can select it back and just click it down to drop it down. So when you have same answer, it's always easy. When they are using the same option, it's always easy to quickly get them out. So let's proceed to this one that is different. I think that is nation, vision and mission. Always. Okay. Another way that you can approach it if you want it to be more um, faster is, so far in this code, the only thing that is changing is this table array. You can be replacing the table array manually and just spread the remaining one across, but to remove confusion, that's the reason why I'm trying to do it one after the other. So you can spread this code down, but you'll not be replacing this table array if you know that table array of it, or probably check it out. But let's do it normal way so that every one of us, especially those people that are not well fully grounded in Excel, will understand what we are doing. I will not be complicating matter. So why are we seeing error here? In T7, we are seeing error, and T23. So T7, T23, what is there? So there is no value here. Do you notice? This is part of what we're supposed to have checked when we are cleaning. But for the purpose of here, I'll just fill it up with what we have here. Sorry. That means that question is not made compulsory under the questionnaire. So in bank sector, we have predictive behavioral analysis. That is one duty under the data analyst. Data analysis is also part of the board that constitute that one. That whereby they look into every of the historical data that the company have to forecast what should happen, what should be done in terms of probably retention, in terms of training for the member. For example, now let's say customer, they notice that out of the data they are collecting, customer tends to be complaining about the customer care, that they are not versatile with what they are doing, they are not responding to some of the questions that they are asking in relative to the app. In cases like that one, the HR or the management can see into it that probably those people in customer care service does not have knowledge about the tech part of the app. That's why they are not responding well. So they can now augment them for training. So data analysis, people that are working in that care, they are working simultaneously in one problem for that organization to push a solution for that organization, but they are pulling data from the same source. The data, they may not categorize it. Let's assume you have three data analysis from that one. Somebody can be pulling data from customer service perspective. Another one can be pulling data from employee perspective. Another one can be pulling data from financial state, probably the income and the outcome, whatever. And somebody can be pulling data from the marketing space, and every of us will work on the data, clean the data, the normal process that you guys are doing, clean the data, work, analyze the data, and present it in a meaningful form that people they can now use to translate or forecast things that no, our company need more training in this aspect. Our company is losing staff in this regard. What can we do? So data analysis is also more than just cleaning data and translating it. It's about bringing solution out of your data, out of your analyzed data, bringing solution out of it. But to your question in summary, it can be the two-way. Either you collaborate on a single problem and figure it out, or you you work on different arm of a problem. But if you are working on something entirely, totally different, I mean they are not having any connection, I don't see that one as a collaboration. I see it as individual projects.
All right, sir.
I expect it. V4. V4, I think that should be occasional. V4, occasional, because I noticed the occasional here is not having any. So by now, I should have the stuff filler. effort to boost. So equals to and with that, we have come to the end of the whole coding process. So after coding process, we proceed to analyze the data. From the analysis part, we also tend to visualize data. However, we don't we must be conversant of what we coded what, so that by the time we are translating our results, we're able to interpret it in relative to that. So, but without wasting much of time, let me just quickly go to analysis. So, data analysis. I'll only be running descriptive. There's something we also call pivot table. Some of us here may not know that. But I think there's a video that we've done from the last cohort in respect to that. If I have not shared the link, I will look for the link to share. So to analyze, we have to select the table range of what we want to analyze. We want to analyze everything. So I'll select from here down to the last one. The they are arranged in column. The first row is the label. I want the result in a new sheet. I want the summary statistics, confidential level at 95%, and boom, I have my results. So this is my analyzed data. Oh, let me add a filter to here. So it'll be easy for the person I want to use it. So this is the data that will be used to discuss the overall one. But I don't need to waste you guys time on this because we have taken time to explain what all these uh, parameters means that we can use to explain each of these. However, for this person that wants this, I will run some visualization for them. This descriptive analysis. So I will make this one my visualization. So I can visualize most of the crucial data here, starting from if I should visualize directly from here, I have the issue of non-numerical. So sometimes it pays to make it a pivot table for us to generate the image. However, if I should go with the numeric data here, I can translate that, but the problem I will still be having is because it's number, that will be issue. So the best way to relate with this, if you are working with Excel, is to use your pivot table. So if I should go under my visualization and I click pivot table, I can select by table range from, let me use this. Okay, choose where to place the pivot. Visualization. Okay. So I can bring in my age, or let me do it this way. Instead of selecting only age, let me bring other one in. Because if I should be only using age, I will not be able to relate with others. But this, the age, I can use this one to create a table, to create chart rather. Let me go back to the class because I know some people will be confused already. Anybody that is having problem with what we are doing currently,
Yes, sir.
apart from him, apart from Joshua, do you have anybody else?
I think I'm getting it, but probably when I review the video, sir.
Okay, let's simplify problem. Pivot pivot table. So pivot table is a powerful interactive tool in spreadsheet software like Excel, Google Sheets that instantly summarize large data sets without formula. So what it does is, this particular guide that we have before, which is raw number here, even if you have 400, you have 1,000, you have 10,000, you have, yours is just to select those range by going to your insert and go to your pivot table here. So it will summarize them that in this data set that you select to, the number of 41 to 50, the age that you have is this, like we have it over here. The number of 41 to 50 that you have is this. The number of 50 to 60 that you have is this. So it will give you the summary of it. Let's assume I did not go for this. Let's assume I actually go for pivot and I select all the other data. Let's assume I select all the data that we have here. First one, I can hold my shift and select the last one. And I press OK. So I will be seeing all the data here under the feed. So I can now relate them by selecting, probably I want age on the row and gender on the column to know how many of gender, where did I put it? Sorry, colon. So I can know the number of female that belongs to each category and number of male that belongs to each category. So some and okay. So this is showing that I have more male that fill this form compared to female. So I'm only having 5 female where I have 29 male filling this form, and I can see the categories in each classes. So by moving each of these into either your row, don't forget this is row, that I move age to row, that's why you can see row age arranged in row, and I move gender to column, that's why we can see gender in terms of column this way. If I should add any other thing here to column, it will to column. Let me delete this one that is doing count. I only need the total. So you can see from here, it's giving us the what do we just add now? The full time in the ministry from 010 to 05, 011, 20, 610, and like categorizing female and male. So this is just for you. You can use it to quickly do a summary connection between all your data. So that's what pivot is more about in analysis. So for here, let me just use gender and remove age. But the problem I used to have some of the time with this is if I should plot this guy as table, if I should plot it as table, if you check here, it's giving me 3 value. Whereas under my age here, I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ticking out the remaining 2 because nobody picked that option. And that's why some of the time I don't like it that way. I like to have all data present for my for the analysis. So in that prospect, what I will just do is I will utilize what we have here, copy them, and I will paste. I will add the remaining one as a 0. 18 to 80 to be 0. Y61 plus to be 0. So I'll call this one age. So with this, let me try to plot graph. So it will be giving me the remaining value, showing them that they are there, but they are 0. Compared to this pivot that will only be using data that are available. I don't know, probably get my explanation. So this is how I will visualize my data. I don't need to waste you guys time on that one. I will go and do that one at the back end. But I believe you have learned one or two from this tonight. So let's stop it there. Any question? Are you guys sleeping already? Any question?
I have no questions, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I have no question. I don't have any
Okay,
question.
no question. I thought you said you have a question. So in the absence of question, say you guys should drop your. I don't see any info that I say you should drop here. Or where do you guys drop it? Since you guys did not drop the message up to now, I believe our